What's going on, Secoya Nation? Today we're going to talk about a genetic predisposition to conditions. So this topic was brought to our attention. We have participants coming all the time who are looking at what's my risk? What's the possible things that can happen to me based on my family history? So a genetic predisposition is the idea that my mom had it, my grandma had it, I'm going to have it. Or at least that's the belief, right? Because you're genetically predisposed. Your DNA is not your destiny, but we'll get into that in a minute. So participant comes in a month ago or so. She thinks she has a predisposition to breast cancer. They've done the BRCA testing. People in general are concerned about BRCA. If you know, Angelina Jolie had bilateral prophylactic, which means preventative mastectomy, because she had one or two of the BRCA genes. But just because my circuit breaker board has the potential for a switch to be flipped doesn't mean it's going to actually manifest in my lifetime. So that's where the idea of having more genetic information is not necessarily beneficial, because you don't know if it's ever going to manifest, and you're going to change your whole lifestyle or your whole body and then live in fear of said predisposition without even knowing whether it's actually going to be a problem for you. So we want to thank Sarah for providing this topic for us. Thank you, Sarah, because she's always looking out for people she cares about and or herself, looking at how can she prevent things and talk about things that are important to her and people that she knows, because this is relevant for a lot of people. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, please comment below. Share with us your ideas, your concerns. People on TikTok are great about responding and saying, hey, can you expand more on this? If that's you on the Insta, go for it. Facebook apparently sucks because they can't get their stuff together and their app doesn't work. So we're moving on. If you don't know who Bruce Lipton is, he was a stem cell researcher. He's now well known for the book called The Biology of Belief. He was a stem cell researcher back in the 60s, I believe, and he would take 3 petri dishes and have one for bone, one for muscle, one for something else, right? Skin maybe. He would take identical stem cells and put them in each one of these petri dishes. And each one of those stem cells, which was non-differentiated as it's called, he hasn't decided what it is yet, put them in there, and that will grow into whatever is in the culture medium. So it's like the nature-nurture scenario. Is it what you are or what you've been placed into as far as an environment? And of course, Bruce Lipton decided to say, well, there's a strong correlation here. It must be the environment you're put into. And then he took it a step further to say, how you see yourself, how you believe you are, is really what you become. And your biology is determined by your beliefs, okay? So the framework of epigenetics is a fancy word by saying, here's your genome. Epi means it's above, okay? So if your genes are the hardwired coding flip switches in your circuit breaker box, the epigenome is the environmental stressors and things like that, the toxins, the people, the food, the nutrients or lack thereof, that are all impacting your genetic code, okay? Does the switch turn on or off? Does it stay off or does it turn on? Things like that. So just because you have a gene that might be, like people come in with I have MTHFR. Great, take some methylated B vitamins and enjoy your life. People come in like, I got BRCA, what do I do? Well, how do you know it's actually going to manifest? Are you really going to go get everything cut off, and then just because you have a gene that's shut off or on or off doesn't mean it's going to manifest, okay? There's just so much more to it than simply saying, okay, I've got a gene, now I'm screwed. It's not that way. If you've never heard of the book called Radical Remissions, there are people with massively deadly diseases that go into remission all the time. So understanding epigenetics, it's like, what environment am I put into? Parents, activities, toxicity. We have in Woodbury here, 3M dumped the chemicals back in the 80s. People over in Lake Elmo and Stillwater are sick because of it. There's big lawsuits and stuff like that. Okay, but not everybody. Not everybody's sick. So was it a gene that got turned on? Was it an overload in their toxicity, their inability to detox? No one thing causes any one thing, okay? You can't blame a gene for everything, okay? There are so many single nucleotide polymorphisms, they're called SNPs, that we all have, that most of us live just fine. So it's like taking a picture of your spine. Like if you have an x-ray of your spine, like, oh, look at your spine, is atrocious. You have all these disc herniations and this, but I don't have any pain. So just because there's something there doesn't mean it's causing something, okay? Just because you have a gene in your DNA doesn't mean it's turned on. Doesn't mean it's adversely affecting you. And Bruce Lipton proved this as far as his research. So what you think about, you bring about. What you think about most, you become. So that's how the epigenetics come. It's not just the environment you put in, but it's how you interpret that environment, how it has an impact on you, and the impact it has on you in determining your life outcome. Okay? One of the most one of the easiest to read books and one of the most profound books you could ever read is called The Empowerment Dynamic. It's called TED. Okay, David Emerald. David Emerald is author. If you want to go pick it up, it's got a workbook and everything. You can do it. Do that, and then do How to Do the Work by Nicole DePera. Do her workbook. Do the work. Okay, you're going to get better. You're going to change how you see yourself. You're going to interact with your world better. You're going to become more assertive. Okay, so instead of focusing on my genome looks like this, I got all this crap I could possibly have bad things happen to me. What's your epigenome? What kind of emotional environment are you living in? What kind of abusive relationships? What kind of disempowering friendships do you have? What kind of scenario do you feel like there's no chance of you creating change because someone feels like they're dominating you or some situation? Take action there. You can totally change how your DNA reacts. It's been proven, okay? Go read the books. Find out how to do the work. Read Biology of Belief. Read Candace Pert's Molecules of Motion. There's really good information. Go read Louise Hay's books. How to Heal Your Body, right? Something like that. Fantastic books. Like, this is not new information, but there is no money in a cure. There's money in surgeries. Someone just talked about today, like, they went in for, what the hell are they going for? Colonoscopy, and they ended up doing like a heart scan and like 3-4 other things. Why? Because insurance companies charge more for it. They get reimbursed more when they do more expensive tests. Now, there's not bad people, but there are systems that incentivize this. So be mindful of the situations and the systems you're putting yourself in, because we can go all kinds of rabbit holes with this. But the point is, your environment has a greater impact on your genes than your genes have on your body. Okay? Just take that in for a second. Your environment, how you see yourself, how you interact with your life, the conflicts and things in your life, the chemicals and the toxins and exposure, has a bigger impact on your genes than you just walking, talking, and breathing. So choose your environments wisely. Choose the people you associate wisely. It's often said, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Take a look. Are they uplifting, empowering, loving, unconditionally loving, supportive? They give the shirt off the back for you, whatever it is for you. Like, design your avatar of the person you want to spend time with, and then find people that fit that bill. Okay? Because then you're going to change your epigenome. You're going to enhance your DNA. People have lived 100 years or so with crappy DNA. I mean, George Burns, the guy smoked cigars and drank like a fish. And he lived into his 90s, as far as I know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, if you know someone that would benefit from hearing this message, please share it with them. Someone who's always down on their luck, saying, oh, I got all this crap going on for me. Like, I got this and that diagnosis. And young lady who's coming in the clinic, she has like 20 meds, 10 diagnoses. What do you think her psychology is like? How do you think she feels about herself? I haven't met her yet, but probably feels like garbage, because she's been told that there's all these things wrong with her. Start looking at what's right with you. Start looking at what's working well, and then enhance those. Instead of diving all your energy into like 1 or 2 things that are limiting you. Right? There are people out there with egregious illnesses. I get it. I'm not trying to minimize that. But you also have to appreciate, how did we get there in the first place? Okay? Take ownership of that. It's not what happened to you up until now that matters. It's what you're going to do about it moving forward. That's what I want to empower you to think about. So spend less time focusing on your genome and spend more time focusing on your epigenome, and you can create the life you desire and the health you desire. Okay? Become the person you need to be in order to have the health you desire. Okay? And please share this with whoever you think is appropriate for. Comment below your ideas, your concerns, your conditions, wherever you need help. And I'll do my best to provide information that I don't think you're getting anywhere else. Okay? So we love you, appreciate the opportunity to serve you, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Wellness Wisdom. All right, guys, take care.